Hi everyone, this is Melissa from In Charge Coaching, and today we're talking about onboarding and offboarding your team members. So a key point that you may be missing in your process. So for those who don't know me, I work with managers and team leaders, build high-performing teams, and set themselves up to be recognized leaders in their organization. So when it comes to bringing in people in your team or seeing people go from your team, we're often concerned with legalities, getting the paperwork in order, orienting the new team member, making sure they're trained, they have the resources that they need. But often what we miss out on is trust. And if you are thinking about trust, and some of you might be thinking trust, we often we go as far as building trust between us as the manager, us as the leader, and the new team member. But there are different layers of trust that you need to be considering, and different scenarios. So I'm hoping today to share some of this with you to expand your view of trust and to start exploring how you can bring in more of it into your team, especially when you are experiencing these changes in members. And a key reason you need to be considering this when people are coming in and people are going out is because change is constantly shifting and changing, or trust is shifting and changing, excuse me. So when you're bringing in a team member or somebody's leaving, what's happening is the power dynamics are shifting. Even if that person is not in charge, they have influence in some way within your team. So you want to make sure that you are on top of that shift and change that's happening. So first off, let's look at onboarding a new member. So like I said, you want to be looking at the trust that you're establishing with this new team member. But we have a certain way, we all have a different trust style. So there's a certain way that you like to build trust. But you also have to consider how they are going to trust you back. What do they need to see to build that trust? So trust between you and them, and then it's about building trust between them and your team. So how are you going to create that space and facilitate that trust building for your team? And then you want to be also thinking about trust between this new team member and the organization. So the policies, the structures, the strategy, can they trust who they're working with or who they're working for? So trust with you, trust within your team, and trust within the structures that we're working in. All right? Now, when you're bringing in a new person, like I said, that's going to change the power dynamics. So you also need to be checking in with all your members. Your entire team is going to feel the shift. Who is this person? And if they're coming in and they have a big personality, or they're coming in with lots of influence or a title that grants them some power and authority, they might be feeling uneasy. They're not going to know what's happening. How is this going to affect my job, my influence, my relationships with you as a manager, my position within this organization. So there's a lot of fear that can come up with these types of changes. So the second thing that I want to address is offboarding a team member. So someone who is leaving, so they might be leaving on good terms, they might be leaving on bad terms. Regardless, when you are losing a team member, this is also affecting your team and again, displacing those power dynamics. So things are changing, people feel uneasy. Now, if this person was someone who had influence and who was loved within the team, there may be a feeling of loss. There might be, some feelings there that you need to address. And they might be also feeling uneasy if there's a replacement for that person, right? That onboarding a new member. So checking in with your team members about what's happening. If this person who left created maybe some issues or some chaos within the team, you might be thinking, wow, okay, they're gone, good riddance, now we can move on. But there are remnants. There's usually like some damage that you need to go exploring. So making sure that any remnants that's there, that you kind of clean up and check in with your members about what happened and how do we prevent these things from happening again. Now, something that I just experienced with a team, which I thought was really, really important, and that's kind of leading me into my next point, but a little story. So we have a team member who is onboarding, and he, takes his place and starts creating some chaos. But what's happening is the managers aren't talking. So we have people that are having bad experiences, but no one's talking because we don't have enough trust amongst the team to compare notes. So 1.5 years goes by before 2 managers actually sit down. They were just talking and having a good lunch together when this comes up, and they start comparing notes and they realize that, wow, this is a bigger problem than we originally thought. I thought I was the only one experiencing this. To then go to the business owner and bring this up so they could finally deal with the issue. But it took 1.5 years before it was addressed, right? Because there wasn't enough trust to start with within the team to have those conversations, to have that kind of transparency and comparing notes. So even before bringing in somebody new, make sure that you have enough trust built in the team. And here's the thing, like I said, trust is always shifting and changing. So it's not enough to just hey, we have this, team building exercise yearly, you check it off the list, you move on. That one team building exercise is not going to do it. Okay, it's nice. People get to know each other a little bit better. They relate to one another so they can start building that trust. But it doesn't end there. It's a continuous process. And it comes up and it goes down. So as a manager, you need to have a pulse on what's going on with the team at all times. So not that these team building exercises aren't good. They are absolutely good, but they're not everything. So make sure you're on top of things and make sure you're creating opportunities to continue building that trust within the team. So trust between you and each team member, trust between, within the team, between each other, and trust with the organization and the direction that we're moving in, the policies, the structures. So trust can do great things for you and your team, and it's the starting place if you want your team to be collaborative and you want performance and growth and a good culture. You have to start with trust, and you need to be mindful of these onboarding and offboarding members, how it's affecting it. So I hope this was helpful today. Please let me know your thoughts. Leave me a fire emoji if it was helpful, and I will see you in the next live.